In the 1960s, scientists were exploring uncharted territories in medical technology. One of these explorations was the development of a device that promised to cure insomnia without the need for medication, an invention known as electrosleep. This remarkable concept was based on the idea that gentle electrical stimulation could induce sleep, bringing hope to millions suffering from sleepless nights. But, despite the potential, electrosleep never truly took off. In this video, we'll uncover the fascinating history of this forgotten invention, its rise and fall, and why it never became a mainstream solution. The concept of electrosleep, also known as cranial electrotherapy stimulation, wasn't entirely new, even in the 1960s. It stemmed from earlier research in neurophysiology. The idea was simple, yet revolutionary. By applying small controlled electrical currents to the brain, the device could alter neural activity, relaxing the mind and helping induce sleep. Researchers were optimistic. They hoped that this method could address not only insomnia, but also anxiety, depression, and even addiction. The device itself was designed to be non-invasive. Electrodes were placed on the patient's forehead and behind the ears, delivering low-frequency electrical impulses. These signals were thought to influence the brain's natural sleep rhythms, mimicking the brainwave patterns associated with relaxation and deep sleep. In initial trials, electrosleep showed promise. In several experiments, patients reported feeling calmer, and some even experienced better sleep. These results were especially appealing in an era when tranquilizers and sleeping pills were common, but often carried the risk of addiction and side effects. With electrosleep, scientists envisioned a future where a simple machine could replace medication for treating insomnia, a solution that was both drug-free and easy to administer. But this optimism wasn't without its challenges. One major issue was proving the device's efficacy through rigorous testing. And here, the ethical standards of the time come into play. As with many experimental medical devices of the era, electrosleep research wasn't limited to human trials. Animal testing played a significant role in the early stages of development. In these experiments, scientists would apply electrical stimulation to the brains of various animals, including rats and monkeys, to observe changes in brainwave activity. These studies were meant to gather data on the safety and effectiveness of the device before it was widely used on humans. However, these experiments were far from perfect. The methodology was often crude, and the results inconsistent. Moreover, the ethical considerations surrounding animal testing were not as developed as they are today. Back then, the focus was more on advancing scientific knowledge, often at the expense of the animals involved. Today, we look back on these practices with a more critical eye. Advances in technology and ethical standards have given us alternative ways to test medical devices without relying as heavily on animal experimentation. Sophisticated computer models, artificial intelligence, and even brain organoids, small clusters of human cells that mimic the activity of a real brain, are now used to simulate neurological responses. These modern methods not only reduce the need for animal testing, but also provide more accurate and humane ways to understand how medical devices affect the brain. So, why did electrosleep fade into obscurity? Despite the initial excitement, the scientific community was divided on its effectiveness. Some studies showed positive outcomes, while others found the results inconclusive. There were also concerns about safety, as not all patients reacted well to the electrical stimulation. Furthermore, as pharmaceutical companies continued to develop new and improved sleep medications, the market for a device like electrosleep gradually dwindled. By the late 1970s, the electrosleep device was largely forgotten. But the concept of using electrical stimulation to treat sleep disorders didn't entirely disappear. In recent years, the idea has resurfaced in new forms of neurostimulation technologies, such as transcranial direct current stimulation (TDCS) and transcranial magnetic stimulation (TMS), both of which are being explored as potential treatments for insomnia and other neurological conditions. The story of Electrosleep is a fascinating reminder of how innovation sometimes stumbles on the path to success. What once seemed like a cutting-edge solution for insomnia has been relegated to the pages of forgotten history. But, in the quest for better sleep, the legacy of Electrosleep lives on through modern advancements in neurostimulation. As technology continues to evolve, it's possible that one day we may see a resurgence of interest in electrical treatments for insomnia, perhaps more refined, more effective, and certainly more ethical. Until then, Electrosleep remains a curious chapter in the long and complex history of sleep science.